Good day. It's December 23rd, 2024, just one day until Christmas Eve. I'm Marivelle Villanueva, and you're watching The Pulse.
And I'm Joe Buban. Welcome to this week's edition.
Around the world, many holidays are celebrated in December, shaped by cultural, religious, and local traditions. Among them, Christmas is one of the most widely recognized and loved, especially by children. While Christmas has Christian origins, you don't need to be a Christian to take part in the festivities. For many, it's a time to celebrate togetherness, regardless of religious beliefs. This is why the phrase, Happy Holidays, has become a popular and inclusive greeting during this season. As Christians, we can still honor our faith while embracing goodwill. If someone says Happy Holidays, let's respond in kind or say Merry Christmas if it feels meaningful to us. Insisting on one phrase over another can sometimes create division where friendship could grow. Whether you say Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, the spirit of the season is about kindness, respect, and connection. Here at Philam TV, we believe every greeting that spreads joy is worth celebrating. Now for our U.S. news. The Democratic-controlled U.S. Senate has just 8 days remaining before the 119th Congress begins on January 3, 2025. At that time, the new Congress will be sworn in, with both chambers shifting to Republican control. In these final days, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is moving swiftly to confirm a dozen more federal judges nominated by President Joe Biden. These appointments are seen as a priority before the Republican majority takes over the Senate. If these judicial vacancies remain unfilled by the end of President Biden's term, the next administration, led by former President Donald Trump, is expected to nominate conservative judges to those positions. The race to confirm these judges underscores the high stakes surrounding the federal judiciary as the political landscape changes.
Here's how the 119th Congress will look like. The U.S. Senate will have 53 Republicans and 47 Democrats. That includes 2 independents who caucus with the Democrats. In the House of Representatives, there will be 220 Republicans and 215 Democrats of the 435 total members, the slimmest margin for a House majority since the Great Depression years. What it means is that Republicans can only afford to lose 3 votes on a partisan bill to the Democratic side. The big question right now in Capitol Hill is whether or not Speaker Mike Johnson can remain in his position. If all Democrats vote against him along party lines, it will only take 3 Republicans to vote against Mike Johnson to lose his title as Speaker. That means there will be several voting on the floor before a Speaker is elected. Such a thing has happened when former Speaker Kevin McCarthy was voted out as Speaker of the House. We are going to take a commercial break. Please stay with us.
Pure Medical Equipment provides top-notch quality medical supply equipment. Whether to rent or buy, Pure Medical Equipment and Supplies has it all.
Pure Medical Equipment is committed to serve and give back to Southern Nevada.
We deliver medical supplies and rentals to your door.
Don't waste your money on CBD. Now hold on, don't turn the video off. If you're already taking CBD, good for you. You're on a good path, but there's a much better way. If you're thinking, should I try CBD? Let me answer a couple of questions that might help you make the decision to even try a CBD product. First of all, let's answer the question, what is CBD and where does it come from? CBD is cannabidiol. It's called a cannabinoid, and it's found naturally in many different plants. In fact, as you see here in the Cannabicaceae family, there's hops, sandalwood, hackberry, of course, hemp, even marijuana, but we're not talking here about marijuana. In fact, we're going to be talking about hemp. As I started to mention, CBD can be found in hemp, in rather high levels, as a matter of fact. But here's the problem. CBD is not the only cannabinoid you can find in hemp. Hemp contains over 100 different cannabinoids. In fact, in the Cannabicae family, hemp contains the highest level of cannabinoids of any plant, which is why it's the most popular source for CBD. But as I mentioned, CBD is only one of the cannabinoids that you can find in hemp. Hemp contains high levels also of CBC, CBG, and CBN. So why would we want CBC, CBD, CBG, and CBN? Well, as we look at the benefits here from CBD alone, you can see these benefits are great. I mean, who wouldn't want these benefits, right? But let's look at the benefits you can get from CBC. You see, they compound with CBD and offer yet even more. But then let's also now look at CBG. CBG has even more benefits. So naturally, anybody looking for the maximum benefit you can derive from hemp would want CBC, CBG, and CBD. But don't stop there. CBN also has fantastic benefits. So if you're looking for a great hemp product and you're contemplating trying a CBD product, don't just buy CBD. And please, don't buy that cheap gas station grocery store stuff. It's just that, cheap, and it won't benefit you at all. But if you can get a high grade, medical grade in fact, hemp product that contains CBC, CBD, CBG, and CBN, now you are unleashing the full power of your body that can only happen if you have all four of these cannabinoids in your body. If you're taking CBD, you're getting roughly 1/4 of the benefit that hemp can give you. Well, fourth is better than nothing, I suppose, but when you want 100% of all the benefits that hemp can give you, that is what happens if you take CBD with CBC, CBG, and CBN. So now you're probably asking, well, where on earth do I get all four of those? The problem now is solved. CBX4 contains high levels, not trace levels, and this is very important, contains high levels of all four of these cannabinoids, which means every benefit we listed up until now is available to you naturally in CBX4 and only in CBX4.
From the Telly Award-winning creator of Love and Karma, Legacy, and Ultra Feminist. Underneath the bright neon lights of Sin City, where fortunes are won and lost in an instant, and the truth can be a bit hazy. Join Elena, a hardworking single mother, her hot-headed son Miguel, and Gabriel, a Filipino pop star on the brink of international stardom, as they embark on a journey of self-discovery, love, and the courage to find one's voice and speak the truth. Made to Shine, coming soon. Presented by Philam TV Network. Written and directed by Giovanni Espiritu.
To keep updated or for more information, visit philamtv.us/made to shine or scan the QR code to be added to the email list for updates and upcoming opportunities to be part of the show. Executive produced by Sam Buban and Esmeralda Padilla Gould.
Welcome back to The Pulse. Nevada Governor Joe Lombardo has joined other Republican governors in committing to deploy the National Guard to support former President Donald Trump's proposed mass deportation plan when he returns to office. This announcement is drawing strong reactions from various sectors of the Las Vegas community. concerns are growing over potential economic setbacks as labor shortages in key industries like restaurants, construction, product distribution, landscaping, and other trades could worsen. Many of these sectors rely heavily on undocumented workers to fill critical gaps in the workplace.
Still in Nevada, State Attorney General Aaron Ford has announced his plan to run for governor of Nevada in 2026. Aaron Ford, a Democrat, was first elected as State Attorney General in 2018 and re-elected in 2022. He is term limited to 8 years and will run for governor in 2026. The Attorney General received the highest number of state votes in the 2022 general election among statewide candidates, more votes than what Governor Lombardo received in 2022. Nevada's Attorney General is one of the several state attorney generals who filed criminal and civil charges against the 2020 fake electors that submitted false certification as the electors for Nevada, giving the 6 electoral votes to Donald Trump. State Attorney General Ford has recently refiled the charges against the individuals who participated in the fake elector scheme. Their submission was refused by Vice President Mike Pence after a retired Court of Appeals judge, whom the Vice President asked for advice, advised that the Vice President has no power to overturn an election. Then Vice President Mike Pence's refusal to obey then President Trump in 2021 became the reason for the January 6 attack in the Capitol, according to the January 6 committee report.
In our world news, Syria's de facto leader Ahmad al-Sharaa, who led the coalition of rebel forces that toppled the Assad regime, has promised an inclusive government representing all sectors and minorities. Al-Sharaa made the statement during an interview with Jeremy Bowen of the BBC. When asked about rebuilding Syria's economy under international sanctions, al-Sharaa argued that the sanctions should be lifted. He emphasized that the measures were imposed on the Bashar al-Assad regime, not the Syrian people, and now that Assad is no longer in power, the sanctions are no longer justified. The international community is closely watching how Syria's new leadership navigates this critical transition.
Also notable during that interview was when Ahmed al-Sharaa was asked if the new government will be like that of the Taliban. He answered that Syria cannot be like the Taliban and that Afghanistan is a tribal society, that Syria has many communities and culture and a different mindset. He continued that Syria believes in the education of women. Al-Sharaa said that even in the city of Erbil, there are colleges and more than 60% of students are women. He said there will be a panel of legal experts in Syria that will develop a new constitution for Syria. France, UK, and the US are cautiously optimistic of a new government in Syria that the West can work with and have stability in the region. Meanwhile, the people in Syria are urging world organizations to come to Syria and help with humanitarian needs, including help with forensic technology in the bodies that were being exhumed from mass grave of victims of the Assad regime. Horrific evidence are being uncovered each day of the brutality of the Assad regime. Bashar al-Assad fled Syria to Russia when Iran and Syria could no longer send immediate support of troops and armaments as Syria is tied up on their support for Hamas in Gaza and the Hezbollah in Lebanon. Meanwhile, Russia is suffering from military personnel because of the 2-year war in Ukraine. It is also reported that the alliance of rebels and the departure of Assad were negotiated through Turkey, according to reports by multiple international news outfits. We will take a commercial break. When we come back, we will be joined here at PhilMTV Studios by Tameka Henry, who is newly elected member to the Clark County School Board. Please stay tuned.
Pure Medical Equipment provides top-notch quality medical supply equipment. Whether to rent or buy, Pure Medical Equipment and Supplies has it all.
Pure Medical Equipment is committed to serve and give back to Southern Nevada.
We deliver medical supplies and rentals to your door.
From the Telly Award-winning creator of Love and Karma, Legacy, and Ultra Feminist. Underneath the bright neon lights of Sin City, where fortunes are won and lost in an instant, and the truth can be a bit hazy. Join Elena, a hardworking single mother, her hot-headed son Miguel, and Gabriel, a Filipino pop star on the brink of international stardom, as they embark on a journey of self-discovery, love, and the courage to find one's voice and speak the truth. Made to Shine, coming soon, presented by Philam TV Network, written and directed by Giovanni Espiritu.
To keep updated or for more information, visit filmtv.us/made-to-shine or scan the QR code to be added to the email list for updates and upcoming opportunities to be part of the show. Executive produced by Sam Buban and Esmeralda Padilla Gould.
Welcome back to The Pulse. With us now is Tameka Henry, an incoming member of Clark County School Board, District C. Tameka, congratulations on winning the election.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Before we get into the questions, please tell us a bit about yourself.
So I'm Tameka Henry. I'm a wife. I'm a mother of 4. I am the executive director of the nonprofit, the Abodo Collective. We run a community garden in the historic west side of Las Vegas. I'm a native to Las Vegas, and so I just love our community.
Yes, and you've been very involved with many things, especially that in community-wise, you've been involved in several organizations, based from your bio and the write-ups.
Yeah, absolutely. So with the North Las Vegas Board of Trustees and also with Head Start, I serve on the board of directors for Head Start as the chairperson now.
Give us a map, maybe streets or landmark where District C is.
So with District C, I always like to say it's the heart of the community. So with the historic west side, certain parts of North Las Vegas. So from Ann and Losi to Ann and the 95, clear over to Sahara, like Sahara and Decatur. So for some landmarks like schools, CSN High School, Cheyenne, Mojave, Western is one of my high schools as well. It's a pretty large district.
I see. So what inspired you to run for the school board?
Well, I was inspired to run for the school board because I'm a product of the school district. I know that there are great people who come from our school district, and we oftentimes hear about all of the negative things and being 48th and 49th in the nation for education, and that wasn't the reality for myself or my children. But I know that it's the reality for so many. And so I wanted to run for school board to make sure that I was bringing representation from our communities, making sure to have a strong voice, and being a strong advocate for those members of our community who are underserved.
So what are the urgent issues in the Clark County School District that are important for you to address?
For me to address, like right away, right now, we're going to need a new superintendent, and that's going to be like one of our first, one of the first things that we address. So, superintendent, we need a CFO or someone to oversee our financials with the school district. But things that are urgent is just making sure that all students have access to a high quality education.
So, what are we expecting in this new cycle of the board with 2 more members, or maybe about 3, who are part of this right-wing organizations or Moms for Liberty being elected?
You know, I get that question quite often. It's like, how are you going to work with these individuals? You know, I like to build relationships with people. You know, it's just important to understand where they're coming from, but also share my perspective and where we're coming from. Collectively, we need to make the best decisions on behalf of all students. And so when they're talking different, you know, talking different book bans and things like that, I think that it's important that we focus and go back to what's really important.
With Trump's election and the talks of abolishing the Department of Education and the effects of Project 2025, what do you think will happen for Nevada's education?
You know, I really feel that, you know, some of those bans include like getting rid of Head Start. Head Start is one of those programs that was pivotal for my family, for myself and my children. It wasn't just about educating my child. It was also about teaching me how to be my child's first teacher. Really advanced me in being an advocate for education. And when families don't have that, when children don't have that Head Start, you know, those best investments are early. You're able to identify if there are any learning disabilities. You're able to create those opportunities for learning early, that love of learning. And when you talk about getting rid of quality programs like that, that's problematic. You know, also for those who have disabilities, you know, those protections that the Department of Education bring. I do have a deep hope that our Board of Education here will carry out those laws that are important for families who have children with disabilities, for those who are underserved. A lot of our schools are Title I schools, and they need that additional funding that comes from the Department of Education. So if we lose that, we lose that additional funding that helps with wraparound services like after-school tutoring. When you're talking about getting rid of school lunches, my daily work is combating food insecurity. And so that's another meal that students won't have access to.
Yeah.
So it's important for us to, you know, advocate that they keep it around, but also start strengthening ourselves in the state of Nevada to make sure that we need to make sure that we have the funding to carry out education.
Yeah. And a few pointers is that like they think they can just, you know, go over there based from these agendas. They can just do it from like immediately, or they think they can just, but it takes like certain areas gradually if they want to, you know.
Right. It takes
abolish
time.
it.
Yeah, it absolutely takes time.
It's like they think they can just do it overnight.
Yeah, and it's like, no, it doesn't happen overnight, but also it's important that we educate our community members and our families and build them up as advocates as to why it's important that we have the Department of Education, the funding that is needed, what that funding covers here locally. It's important for us to share that so they know that it's an urgency that we need to protect public education.
Yeah. And regarding about food insecurity, and, you know, all the candidates for there who are running for the education positions and the school boards throughout the past election cycle was mostly about, you know, kids are hungry, students are hungry. And, you know, I think it was Mercedes McKinley, I think, who said that, you know, hey, Miss McKinley said lunch yet? I said, they're hungry.
Yeah.
And, you know, I remember we do remember during our high school days when, you know, lunchtime was like around 10 something. And then like when school ends at like 1 p.m., it's like we go in, eat our second lunch.
Yeah. I work with families daily who face food insecurity.
Yeah.
I've worked with families who are unfortunately living in their cars with their children.
Yeah.
You know, schools are a safe space for our students. You know, it's about education. It's about education for sure, But also when you can have those meals at school, when you can have that safety for our students, they have better outcomes, you know? So I think that it's important for us to continue to really build family and community engagement. It's important to have partnerships with other nonprofit organizations, community organizations who can provide wraparound services for our students so they're not coming to school hungry and that they have the supplies that they need to learn. It's just something that I feel very passionate about, and it's going to take all of us to improve education here in Clark County.
Yes. Well, thank you for sharing your insights,
Of
Tameka.
course.
Before we go, and we will leave it at here, any last words from you?
I thank you for having me. You know, I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to being of service to our school district. I feel that we have the opportunity to rebuild and restore trust with our community. I know that everyone has watched our school board meetings throughout the past few years, and just really looking forward to bringing honor and respect back to the board so we can make the very necessary and bold decisions to move our district forward.
Well, Tameka Henry, thank you for coming to The Pulse.
You are very welcome. I appreciate you.
We will leave it at that. Thank you for watching this week's episode of The Pulse. I'm Joe Buban.
And I'm Marivelle Villanueva. God bless your week and Merry Christmas.